Stand up, fight back. What do we do? 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 Stand up, fight back. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Oh, sure, hold on to this. This is just the order. Don't worry about anything else. I'll let you know how it's
Se ve y se siente. La unión está presente. Se ve y se siente.
go after the demand. So we'll switch.
Se ve y se siente. El pueblo está presente. Se ve y se siente. El pueblo está presente. Ice, you ain't nice. 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 Pay the price. You ain't nice. Pay the price. Ice, you ain't nice. Pay the price. You ain't nice. Pay the price. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for being here today. My name is Lawrence Benito. I'm the Executive Director of the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. We're a member-based organization that builds power to pass policies that protect and empower immigrants while also ensuring that all people have access to the resources they need to thrive. Today we're proud to be alongside so many of our members, as well as our allies and partners from labor and Black-led community organizations. I wish we were gathering under better circumstances. We're here today in response to the escalating attacks on immigrant communities locally in Chicago and across our country. Thank you. Where was I? It's plain and clear that Trump is escalating to advance his hateful agenda and resorting to tactics that place people from all communities, immigrant and non-immigrant alike, in danger. Within the last few weeks, ICE agents have been arresting people at court appearances, and last week began arresting people at routine check-ins, in the process removing people from their families and communities just to meet Stephen Miller's arbitrary, racist deportation quotas. This attack escalated even further in Los Angeles as ICE unleashed on immigrants, trampled First Amendment rights, and jailed a labor leader who dared stand up for his community. Their tactic to incite violence is clearly intentional, and it creates a moment that Trump will certainly exploit to enact even more harm. This morning, a new travel ban went into effect, which will separate families and disproportionately impact Black and brown people from across the globe. Later this week, Governor J.B. Pritzker will be summoned to Washington, D.C. to testify about welcoming policies that are being put to the test in Chicago as ICE carries out their unprecedented operations. All of this comes on the heels of Trump repealing temporary protected status, revoking visas because of people's speech, and showing blatant disregard for court orders that would otherwise shield from deportation. It's no coincidence that escalating enforcement is happening now as Trump and congressional Republicans are pushing legislation to gut health care, stifle working families in the name of giving millionaires and billionaires huge tax cuts, even further harming communities left behind by decision makers in D.C. But we can and will be vigilant on all fronts. We will defend and protect our people, demand accountability to these reckless DHS lawbreakers, and make clear the billionaires' first agenda that Trump and the GOP are advancing won't happen.
Right.
Today, we will be hearing from community and labor leaders who represent people directly impacted by these attacks and show the breadth of the harm that Trump administration is causing. We'll also be laying out a set of demands of the local, state, and federal governments to push back and not allow the Trump administration and his supporters to backslide in our country into a fascist military state. To start us off, I want to introduce Nadia from the Arab American Action Network.
My name is Nadia Al-Yafi, N-A-D-I-A-H, last name A-L-Y-A-F as in Frank A-I, and I am an organizer at the Arab American Action Network. We stand united today in resistance against the new Trump travel ban, which targets 12 countries for a total ban and puts heavy restrictions on an additional 7 countries. We must be clear that this is undeniably rooted in anti-Muslim, anti-Black, and anti-Arab racism. Not even 5 months into the Trump presidency, we have already witnessed the cruel raids, mass deportations, and relentless harassment of immigrant communities, primarily Mexican and Central American. Across the United States and in our very own city, say shame. ICE has employed disgusting tactics such as going to schools and hospitals, attempting to tear apart families, even in places of learning and healing. Just this last week, they launched a horrific attack on community members and leaders such as Gladys Yolanda Chavez Pineda. So it is clear that this travel ban is not just an isolated incident, it is an extension and continuation of ongoing attacks on immigrants and the marginalized under the Trump regime. For the Arab community in Chicago area, where many Yemenis as well as Sudanese and Libyans reside, there is heightened fear and uncertainty as our countries are listed and attacks on our communities have already begun. As a Yemeni American myself, there is a deep fear and anxiety that my community is facing right now. Many Yemenis hold legal permanent residencies, but under the successive attacks of this administration, even that status offers no guarantee of safety or security. We are witnessing a deliberately targeted effort to undermine our rights, our freedoms, and our dignities. Now our families will be further torn apart as we will be unable to be reunited with loved ones and elders in other countries simply because of our nationality. We already know that there has been an unofficial policy of heightened harassment and targeting of Arabs, Muslims, and Africans across ports of entry for months. And this ban lays bare the racism of this administration. But let us be clear. We will not stay silent in the face of this injustice. Arabs stand in total and complete solidarity with our Latinx siblings bearing the brunt of the racist ICE attacks. We will continue to build our power, to organize our communities, and take action at every level. This is an extension of a long struggle to fight the racist and reactionary Trump agenda, and we know when we fight together, we win.
When we fight, we win.
I'd now like like to call Fasika Alam from United African Organization.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Fasika Alam, F-A-S-I-K-A, Alam, A-L-E-M, and I am with the United African Organization, and we are an ISER member. This week has hit our community hard, and I'm speaking here today to make sure Chicago hears the story of Black immigrants, because it is so often overlooked. It has long been true that Black immigrants are disproportionately impacted by ICE enforcement, and under the Trump administration, it is clear and obvious that this trend continues. Just last week, we learned of 5 asylum seekers from Senegal abducted from immigration court, despite the fact that their cases are still pending and the judge had scheduled another court date for them. We also know that at least one individual from Cameroon, a husband, a father, was taken at his ISAP check-in. Trump has also used his term so far to make targets out of African and Caribbean immigrants, particularly by revoking temporary protected status for nationals of Cameroon and Haiti, countries that continue to experience violence and persecution. In fact, a recent report by the Norwegian Refugee Council identified Cameroon as the world's most neglected displacement crisis, with more than 1.1 million people internally displaced and at least 2.8 million facing acute food insecurity. Yet, DHS Secretary Noem believes that the conditions in Cameroon no longer pose a serious threat to individual safety and do not prevent Cameroonians from safely returning to their country. This is just not true. Civilian populations in Cameroon are at imminent risk of atrocities due to continued violence. And then on June 4th, this administration brought back its racist travel ban that includes new restrictions on multiple African countries. This policy is a dangerous revival of xenophobic and racist immigration policies that have no basis in national security and instead reflect a pattern of systemic discrimination. Labeling entire nations as threats undermines America's values of fairness, due process, and human dignity. I also want to point out that the people that are affected by these policies are our brothers, our mothers, our friends, our co-workers, and our neighbors. And this is also how we know when one of us goes missing. We want to make clear that all people deserve dignity, respect, and the right to stay, and all people deserve a community that fights for them. And that's why it's important for me to be here today, together with all of you. We join in the demand that our communities be kept whole without the threat of deportation and detention. Thank you.
Thank you, Fasika. Our next speaker is Grace Chan McKibben from the Coalition for a Better Chinese American Community.
My name is Grace Chan McKibben, G-R-A-C-E-C-H-A-N-M-C, capital K-I-B-B-E-N. Since January this year, Coalition for a Better Chinese American Community, together with other Chinatown organizations, have been organizing to give Know Your Rights education to our community. In recent months, in the past month, in fact, we've experienced an increase in ICE enforcement in Chinatown and Bridgeport. We have seen individuals detained, and some of these individuals have been in the US for more than 15 years. They were hardworking individuals who worked and owned businesses, and many were trying to follow the process of seeking asylum when they were unfairly arrested and detained.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
The Chinese term for those who enter the US across the border is 九线, which literally means crossing the line or crossing the border. There's an estimated 60,000 Chinese nationals that have crossed the border since 2023. These individuals came to the US for the same reasons, using similar paths as Venezuelan migrants and other migrants from Central and South America, as well as African and Haitian migrants, to seek a better life for themselves and their families. The detention of these individuals deny them a path to a new life in the U.S., just as the recent TPS resentment of Venezuelans does. CBCAC, Coalition for a Better Chinese American Community, as well as other organizations that form mutual aid and social service organizations that have welcoming centers, have been serving these individuals from Asia, from Europe, from Africa, from Central and South America for many years. The Trump administration in recent months have singled out China in its attack, from restricting and revoking international student visas to unfair trade policies. We know that during the first Trump administration, we saw the White House use terms such as the China virus and Kung flu, which fuel anti-Asian hate, not just in the Chinese American community, but in Asian communities across the board. This new aggressive rhetoric will have a similar impact on Asian immigrant communities. Ultimately, all immigrant communities, regardless of which country they are from, are under attack by Trump's racist and fascist policies. As immigrant communities, we need to all stand together to fight these attacks.
Thanks, Grace. Representing organized labor today is Jeannie Castro.
Free David! Free David! Free David! Free David! Free David! Free David!
Bring it through. I see that.
Free David! Free David!
She's representing SEIU, and she's the president of SEIU Local 1. Please give it up for
Can we
Jeannie.
put this mic right here? Leave it right there.
Got it.
Second. My name is Jeannie Kastrup, G-E-N-I-E, Kastrup, K-A-S-T-R-U-P. I'm here today representing SEIU Local 1 and also all of our other SEIU locals, SEIU Healthcare Illinois, Indiana, as well as my other sister local, SEIU 73. And I also am proudly representing the Chicago Federation of Labor, which I serve on their board, who unites working people all across the city and state. So SEIU is the backbone of our city. We are janitors, we are residential workers, we are security officers, we are nursing home workers, we are healthcare workers, and we are public sector workers. We literally are the backbone of this city, making it run, making it safe, and making it clean for all of our families across the city. And just like the countless members ISA represents here today, we are here demanding the immediate release of my brother and SEIU President, USWW, David Horta.
Free David! Free David! Free David! Free David! Free David! Free David!
He was wrongfully detained among many other immigrants in the latest ICE raids in California on last week. David is my brother. He is a fighter. He is a friend. He is a lifelong Angelinian who was born here in the United States. He was dedicated his life to standing up for working people. And while he was doing what he has done his entire life, he was standing up and protecting working families. He was detained and injured by ICE. What happened to David on Friday is about more than just a single leader, though. It is a direct assault on all of us who believe in the fundamental American right to stand up for justice, for due process, and to speak out for the rights of workers.
That's right.
We've seen the violent ICE attacks here in our own communities. Just last week, ICE agents stormed the South Loop here in Chicago, detaining migrants under false pretense of routine check-ins. And then again in LA on Friday. Families torn apart, workers taken from their jobs. These actions are not about safety. They're not about, they're rooted in control and racism and designed to intimidate. And I'm here today to say we will not be intimidated by your tactics. For those watching at home, this isn't just about immigrants. They've come for immigrants in our community first. But don't worry, you're next. And it is time we all stand up and fight for the America we believe in. Because what is happening right now is about silencing voices. It's about dividing working people. It's about dividing our communities against the have and have-nots. And it's abusing power. And I'm proud because I know, along with everybody standing behind me and the 150,000 SEIU members across our city, Chicagoans are not going to stand for that. Immigrants are the backbone of our community. They're our friends, they're our family, they're our aunts, they're our uncles, and they're our grandparents. They're providing essential services. And we're here to say that we will not be silenced. We won't be intimidated by your tactics. And in SEIU and many of our labor partners who have joined in the fight, we will not be silenced and stopped, and we will not stop until our brother and President USWW David Horta is set free.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
And every one of those that have been detained falsely are sent home and are safe and respected. We urge all elected officials to call on this government to stop the senseless raids, because ICE has no place in our community.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Let's give it up for SEIU. I see Local 1 in the house. I see Healthcare in the house. I see Unite Here in the house over there. Our next speaker is Gregory Mann from Equity and Transformation. And Richard, you want to come?
Coming to you. Coming
Okay.
right here.
All right.
coming right here.
Why don't you guys up front?
How's everyone here today?
Great.
You know, we're out here today fighting for a cause that we shouldn't be out here fighting for. We out here today fighting for a cause that we shouldn't be out here fighting for. Solidarity, we stand in solidarity with our black and brown sisters and brothers. We're out here showing support because we believe in the same struggles they have as the same struggles that we face every day. We want better education for our children. We want better housing for our families. We want a piece of the American dream, and why is that wrong? We have been divided against each other so long by the powers that be telling us one race is better than the next. One race works harder than the next. And we bought into this propaganda, this lie. We believe this lie, and for decades and decades we have been separated. We are a powerful group of minorities that stand together, become a majority. We can make a difference, but the only way we can make a difference is we make a difference amongst ourselves, black and brown. When we decide that we are standing in solidarity, that our fight is the same, that we want the best for our children just as anyone else wants, that we want a piece of the American dreams, that we are taxpayers, that we give to this country, blood, sweat, and tears. We want a vision, we vision a country, man, that we can all live as humanity. Man, we are human. You know, this new policies that they're having with ISIS and the things that they're doing, that is horrific. Imagine someone coming to your home. I've experienced it, we have experienced it. Yeah. We as black people experience that on a daily basis. But to know someone to come in your home and have the power to take you out of your home, away from your children, and separate you, that is some powerful stuff, and that is some frightening stuff for people like ourselves. What I'm saying here today is that if we do not stand together, if we don't stand up for something, and you see us out here standing up for something, if we don't stand up for something, we're gonna lay down for everything. We are in solidarity. We are in solidarity with our brown sisters and brothers. We are not going anywhere. We stand here for them. We are fight. Their fight is our fight. Okay? We're talking about deportation. We're talking about reparation. We are fighting for the same equality, and the same fight is our fight. And we will continue to fight. We here, my name is Greg Mann, that's G-R-E-G-O-R M-A-N-N. I think that G-R-E-G-O-R-D. Equity and transformation. I'm here today. I'm not fearful. I'm not scared, but I just love my brown brothers and sisters, and I'm here, and I'm going to fight for them until the day I die.
When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win.
We win.
Thank you, Greggy. Thank you. I also, once you start naming people, you get in trouble. So I want to make sure. Chicago Teachers Union in the house. Amalgamated Transit Union in the house. We got we have national organizations with you. NACASAC is in the house. Illinois Federation of Teachers in the house. I think Community Change is also in the house. I'm here. Before I get to the last speaker, I also want to recognize another elected official here that's joining with us to support Commissioner Alma Naya. Thank you, Commissioner. I know our next speaker is trying to get on his plane to D.C. to do the work of the people. Our champion, Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia.
Let's give this a try. No, that ain't gonna work. All right. Good morning to all the organizations and communities present here today. Thank you for your courage and for keeping us clear and grounded in our common struggles for justice. What we saw last week and over the weekend wasn't lawful enforcement. It was a belligerent power grab. ICE raids, people abducted from jobs, from homes, from community spaces, ripping parents apart from their children, kidnapping people, showing up to what they thought was a routine check-in at ICE. National Guard patrolling our communities like we were the aggressors. This is cruelty with intent. You don't belong here is what they're telling us. Well, we have a message for you. We're not going anywhere. This isn't about safety. This is about control. Fear is the tactic. Silence is the goal. This is not about immigration. This is about domination of all of our communities.
That's right.
This looks like a war on immigrants, part of a long, coordinated campaign to criminalize our culture, erase our identity, and break our spirit. They want labor without families. They want to profit off of our backs, but silence our voices, and that ain't gonna happen. And we are not going to hide as well.
That's right.
Our communities are outraged. Mexican, Americans, and Latinos, Haitians, Palestinians, Nigerians, South Asians, and many others. Our communities are comprised of refugees and dreamers from every corner of the world, and all of us are under attack. This is a war on our dignity, and dignity is not up for negotiation. The people have reached a boiling point. Remember, it's been 10 years since this campaign was unleashed by Donald Trump. In 2015, he started with Mexicans and expanded to everyone and seeks to criminalize and marginalize each and every one of us who fight for our constitutional rights. But let's not pretend that the timing is a coincidence. Trump's economy is in trouble. It's unraveling. His allies are flipping and calling him for what he is. His lies are cracking under pressure. The world is calling his bluff as well. And this week, Congress has the power to kill his big, ugly bill because it will throw people from their health care, it will make people hungry, and it will devastate the social safety net of all of our people across the country, rural and urban. We see it.
Kill that bill!
Kill the big, ugly bill.
Kill that bill! Kill that bill! Kill that bill!
We see it. We see it clearly, and we reject it. And we are ready to fight non-violently in mass actions across the land. And until we kill the big ugly bill, we've got to use every budget to dismantle the tool of terror at his disposal. That's why we stand here to say, free David Huerta and all political detainees.
Free David! Free David! Free David! Free David! Free David!
And I apologize for going over the time. But let us not forget that these raids are about political theater, cruel, armed and violent. They are part of the same pattern we've seen. Silence is the culture, erase the voice, punish the people. Different tactic, same mission. But we're not scared, we're not silent, and we are not going back. So know that you have allies in Congress fighting to protect everyone in our country. Know that we care. Know that we give a damn, and know that we reject any authoritarian measures that seek to take us back, because we ain't going back. We're going forward together as one united people. Muy buenos días a toda la comunidad hispanoparlante. Nos da mucho gusto estar aquí con toda la comunidad de organizaciones y vecindarios a través de toda la área metropolitana. Estamos aquí para repudiar los ataques falsos y calumniosos del presidente Trump y las agencias que ha puesto a su disponibilidad. No seremos intimidados, seguiremos levantando nuestras voces, nos vamos a seguir uniendo y expandiendo nuestros esfuerzos para proteger la Constitución, para asegurar que haya rendimiento de cuentas y desmantelar el sistema siendo utilizado por esta administración para criminalizar, para marginar a nuestra comunidad y para dividirnos. Estamos unidos, luchamos por los derechos de todos los inmigrantes, de todas las comunidades que están siendo atacadas, y nuestra meta es desmantelar el proyecto de ley que busca darle el poder a la presidencia y que busca militarizar las fuentes civiles, las fuentes de las agencias federales para perseguirnos, para atacarnos y para callarnos. No seremos callados, luchamos juntos y estamos repudiando la autoridad del autoritarismo en los Estados Unidos de América que emana de la Casa Blanca. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Congressman.
Welcome here, no hate, no fear. Everyone is 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 welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman Garcia. I got too many pieces of paper in my hands, everyone, so I missed somebody. Before I open up for questions from the press, we're organizers, and so we've got a list of demands for local elected officials. And here to state those demands is Reverend Juan Pablo from Palenque, LSNA.
Thank you. It's Juan Pablo, Juanpablohlerera.
Give it to him.
You got it? Thank you for everyone that's given us their stories about how this administration's racist and xenophobic attacks have affected them. What we know today and what we've been making clear is that we're not going to allow this administration to continue to attack us. Are you guys ready for a chant?
Yeah.
When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
That's right. And we're fighting back with demands of the city, the state, and the federal government. First off, ICE entrap community members at ICEP offices, a program where people ICE itself determined did not require detention. Ooh. Hold this and I'll do this.
I got you, brother.
Black and brown, black and brown.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Aquí estamos y no nos vamos. Y si nos echan, nos regresamos.
That's right. A lot of disturbing things happened when ICE did this last week. Specifically, the Chicago police assisted ICE in this operation. They created a perimeter for ICE. And so this violates our welcoming city ordinance that we've had here for a very long time. And this also violates the Illinois Trust Act. So some of the things we are demanding. For the city, we want a calling for a full investigation of CPD's welcoming city ordinance violation during ICEP arrests and the required compliance training for the Chicago Police Department and other relevant stakeholders.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, based on what happened here last week and what we see playing out in Los Angeles right now, we see that ICE is looking to escalate and to sow chaos in welcoming cities. And we want a clear plan of action should ICE try to do what they did in LA, here in our very own city.
That's right.
Okay. And finally, we call on the city to refuse to turn over to the federal government any information from our city key municipal ID program, since DHS clearly wants to use this information to identify immigrants for immigration enforcement. And at the state level, we want Attorney General Raul to conduct a full investigation into the Trust Act and how that violates the violations committed by CPD. And we want to send a clear message that when the state writes laws, we expect the police not to break them.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
And additionally, the General Assembly and Governor Pritzker must defend and strengthen the Trust Act as soon as possible. We know that ICE will exploit any loophole that they can find, and stalling on amendments is opening the door to allow ICE to track down our community members.
That's right.
And we also want to make sure that the General Assembly and the Governor do not lose sight of the big picture. Congress right now is trying to figure out how to hand out more money to the rich, while the immigrants they use as scapegoats. And we must fully reject these intentions by not only protecting our people, but also taxing the rich to ensure that our state can invest in all the things necessary to make Illinois welcoming for all.
That's right. That's right.
Healthcare, transit, guaranteed income, reentry support, and a lot more. They must stay laser focused on taxing the rich to fund our communities.
Tax the rich! Tax the rich! Tax the rich!
And we won't forget about the federal level. We call on all of our members of Congress to demand a full investigation of ICE's militarized action and brutality across all of the country. They are a threat and a danger to our country. We call on the release of SEIU President David Huerta and all others who were expressing their First Amendment rights to observe ICE's activities. And we demand a requirement that all ICE agents to identify themselves are no longer permitted to conceal their faces in order to facilitate accountability for documentation of excessive use of force. We demand that ICE immediately stops all abductions at ICE locations, at immigration courts, at county and federal courthouses, and that they stop terrorizing our communities through home site raids, and fully comply with the Nava settlement restricting warrantless arrests, and immediately free everyone whom ICE arrested through these operations. Let's make one thing clear: ICE is not welcome here. And last but not least, as the 13th anniversary of the DACA program approaches and it's in its hands of an administration that is trying to strip the protections from people. So we call on the federal government not only to defend DACA, but to open the process up for new applicants who have been waiting for relief. Thank you.
Will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
The people will never be defeated. United. Thank you, Reverend Pablo. Thank you, Congressman Garcia, for joining us today, and to all our community leaders and allies who spoke. I also want to thank all of you for being here to say loud and clear that Chicago is a welcoming city and Illinois is a welcoming state. ICR members, partners, and allies are committed to continuing to stand with our neighbors and invite everyone here to stay connected to receive updates about future actions and developments. You can sign up at our newsletter at icirr.org. Remember, we keep each other safe. If you believe there is ICE activity in your neighborhood or need to connect to community resources, please call ICR's Family Support Hotline, 855-435-7693. That concludes our speakers program. We will now be taking questions from the press. Thank you. We'll also be available for individual interviews afterwards.
Tengo toda la confianza de que el gobernador va a hacer el caso de por qué es importante esta ley, la protección de las comunidades inmigrantes y las grandes contribuciones. Voy a darle una vuelta antes de que él presente su testimonio. Hemos tenido enlace con la oficina del gobernador y tenemos gran confianza. Gracias.
Talk about what are your concerns? Do you see the National Guard possibly coming here if protests continue here? And what do you want Governor Pritzker?
Well, like Governor Newsom, governors in the targeted states have rejected the need for National Guard or further militarization by the least competent Secretary of Defense in the history of the country, trying to prove that he is big and bad and tough by attacking among the most vulnerable in our society. It is shameful no military tactics need to be utilized at this time. Governors are resisting the deputization of National Guard, and I wholeheartedly support their decisions. I think they'll continue to point out that all of this is being done under the false guises that there is a national emergency. There never was, and if anyone is responsible for any of the provocateurs and their violent actions, it is the Trump administration, Stephen Miller and Tom Homan, who seek to portray an emergency that does not exist. I've been in touch with members of Congress who represent those communities. The disorder that is televised minute after minute has been created not by the people in those communities, but by the actions, the unnecessary actions, the excessive actions taken by this administration.
The National Guard will expand out from outside of LA into other cities that are protesting, like Chicago?
There is no need to. The protests in Chicago have been peaceful and they'll continue to be peaceful. We must be on guard for any provocateurs or people who are seeking to infiltrate the peaceful struggles of the immigrant communities and our allies.
Si bien la comunidad no tiene miedo a organizarse, si bien parte de la comunidad no tiene miedo a organizarse, defender a sus familias, también hay otro sector de la comunidad que siente temor hasta para ir al trabajo. En ese sentido, un mensaje generalizado para la comunidad inmigrante de Chicago.
Es muy importante reconocer de que toda esta campaña es para sembrar el temor, para quebrarnos, para quitarnos nuestra identidad. Hay que examinar nuestra historia. Chicago ha sido un líder en la protección de los inmigrantes. Este año marcamos los 40 años cuando el aquel entonces alcalde Washington declaró a Chicago una ciudad que da la bienvenida a todos los inmigrantes. Por ello es tan importante que resistamos, que ejercemos nuestros derechos constitucionales. No han sido suspendidos, siguen vigentes, protegen a todo mundo, y es importante que comunidades de base, iglesias, grupos deportistas, todo mundo tiene un papel que jugar. Hoy vamos a ver a los estudiantes en las escuelas de Los Ángeles resistir porque se sienten agredidos y saben que lo que está en la balanza es el futuro de la Constitución y los derechos de todos, no solo de algunos. Hoy atacan al inmigrante, mañana atacan a todo el pueblo. Organizar. La activación de la Guardia es innecesaria, es excesiva y es una continuación de la guerra en contra de nuestras comunidades. La mejor respuesta, en mi opinión, es la resistencia pacífica, la resistencia masiva. Exhorto a las comunidades de fe a tomar liderato en este tema y empezar a movilizar pacíficamente. Los logros y el triunfo de nuestro movimiento está en la resistencia pacífica. Yes, Silvia. We have not received any reports of that nature, but we are vigilant and we are reaching out so that if anything like that occurs, we can communicate it to the public, and of course, Congress can investigate as well. We fear that the effort to criminalize and to marginalize a broader sector of people, those who are here with documents, those who are United States citizens, will also amplify because this is a lawless administration. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, everyone. Do you want to get a picture, or we? Yeah, we're gonna.
We got one more chance, quick. Who's ready?
We got one more chance. Are y'all ready? deportation. Up with liberation. Down, down with deportation. Woo! Let's hear it! Woo! Make some noise! We're doing a big group photo. If y'all want to get together, please. Let's get in together. We would like to take a big group photo right here. Please in.
Can we ask the press to move the mic?
Start with turning around the sign, please. Thank you.